Now let's look at the next standpoint and look at what it says in the scriptures about the time we should be eating our food. You know, for a very long time I was confused about this when somebody told me in the scriptures that spoke about not just what we eat, but when we eat it. Because I didn't see any scriptures in the Bible that says you should be eating at this time or you shouldn't be eating at that time. Look, folks, this scripture, Proverbs 14:12, there's a path before each person that seems right but ends in death. If scripture says it, that's it, and there's nothing beyond that. But all scripture is given with a principle behind it. The principle of creation, the principle of design. You know, it's by my design when I look up at a tree, if I saw a monkey and a banana, by design I say, hey, that banana looks great. I'm going to eat that banana. I want to find a way to get that banana and eat it. It's by custom where a man today will say, hey, that monkey that's eating that banana looks great. I got to find a way to get that monkey and eat it. Well, I can tell you, we shouldn't be eating monkeys from a scriptural standpoint or from a design standpoint. There's nothing healthy about eating a monkey or most of the other animals people eat today. But the design says we should be eating the food that's put there for us to eat. And the monkey is a great example of this is how we get the food. You take, for an example, an orange, an apple, or something like that. Our hands are designed to grab it, to peel it, or to chew it and eat it. We can't chase down an animal and jump on it and pounce on it and kill it with our own hands and start eating it. So the design says this. The design also says we eat our food when we can see it. When we can see it during the daytime hours. It says in Ecclesiastes 3:1, there's a time for every purpose under the heaven. There's a time to eat and a time not to be eating. Do you know the moon works wonderful with cleansing and detoxifying the body and all the waters of the planet and the body, which is mostly water. So when we go to sleep on an empty stomach at nighttime, we're not eating, that's when the body can cleanse great. The digestive organs, the best time the digestive organs work best is during the daytime hours, 2 times a day. The average person today will eat over 10 to 15 times a day with their snacking and grabbing different foods and everything else. It's not a healthy practice. People say, well, what about the teaching that we could eat many times throughout the day or we should eat many small meals throughout the day? That's a terrible teaching. You know, that's never given a less meal a chance to digest. No, we only need to eat 2 or 3 meals a day. We don't need to eat much if we're eating good quality food, folks. This is what we have to understand. Somebody says, well, I eat a lot because I want to speed up my metabolism. I said, don't you understand when you speed up your metabolism, you speed up your aging? The key is to slow it down, not speed it up. And people say, well, I do that because I don't want to put on weight. I said, well, maybe if you aren't eating so often, you don't have to worry about putting on weight. Just slow down and enjoy your food and 2 or 3 times a day, and that's it. You don't need to do much more. But people don't get it. They're eating too often, too much, and then they're eating at the wrong times. They're eating the majority of their food at nighttime. We have more money and science and knowledge of the study of obesity and this thing and dieting than ever before in the history of man. But at the same time, we have more books on diet than ever before in the history of man. It just doesn't sound right. Here's the issue. The body does not do the same thing to food when you eat it right before going to sleep than eating something in the afternoon. It stays on the body. It's harder to process. It just doesn't work. It shouldn't be working that way. This is a problem we have. I have a book called The Daylight Diet where I get into this in more detail, but I will tell you this. If our Creator wanted us to eat at nighttime, He would have made fruits and vegetables glow in the dark. He didn't do that. We are not nocturnal animals. We are to be sleeping at nighttime, not eating our biggest meal late at night. We have to understand this. And you can't go to a doctor. You go to a doctor and say, I'm suffering from all these issues. So many people go to the doctor today and they're used to eating late at night and it's created their issues that the doctors named a new disorder called late night eating disorder. Now the doctor's giving people a reason to say, well, I don't have any control over this. I have this disorder and I'm just going to eat at nighttime. And then he gives them medication to eat with their food at nighttime. It's just even worse. You know, it's gotten so bad, this is what's happened. There are people that they'll go to sleep and they'll get up in the middle of the night and they'll start eating without even knowing it. It's called sleep eating disorder. They'll get up in the middle of the night without even knowing it and they'll start eating and then they'll go back to bed. From a diet standpoint, there's only one thing I could think of that's more dangerous than getting up in the middle of the night and eating and not knowing it. You know what that is? That's getting up in the middle of the night and eating and knowing it. That's such a problem we have today, folks. We have to stop eating late at night. And I can tell you, if people stopped eating when it was dark outside, half the problems of all the diseases with the race and so on will go down today. Now, some wise guy might say, well, what if we live in Alaska where during the summer it's always light outside? Well, first I would say, you don't live in Alaska, so stop thinking that way. But second, if you want to think that way, to make it even more simplified, just eat between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. and you'll be fine. Don't eat after these hours. Now, this is how amazing our Creator is. In the summertime, the days are longer, but the food is lighter, so we can get away with eating a little bit more. In the wintertime, the days are shorter, but the food that grows locally is heavier, so it sustains us longer. So we don't need to eat as much often, so we could fit it into short hours of the day and be satisfied throughout the day. It all works together, folks. And the digestive organs work ideal. There are 2 times when the digestive organs work ideal. The 2 times are during the sacrifice, the daily sacrifices, the 3rd and the 9th hour of daylight. Those are the ideal 2 times to eat our food from a digestive standpoint. And I am not going to say everyone eat at 7 a.m. or 9 a.m. because in the summertime it might be light at 7 a.m. In the wintertime it's dark at 7 a.m. There's no day that's exactly the same as the previous day. Yeshua says in the scriptures there are 12 hours in a day, but it's man that says there are 60 minutes an hour. Our Creator's calendar shows that each minute and an hour is different every single day. As the days get shorter, the minutes and the hour get shorter, and vice versa. The only way to try to find a true 3rd and 9th hour is to take the sunrise to the sunset and divide it by 12. Now I talk all about this in my book, The Daylight Diet, for that formula and so on. But what I'm telling you, the principle we need to understand is to just eat 2 or 3 times a day, and that includes snacking and everything else, because there's no little man in your stomach saying, here comes a meal or here comes a snack. Anytime you eat, the body has to do something with it. It has to work. Just do that and you'll be okay. Now people tell me, I know you're saying eat healthier and it's better to eat healthy, but I just love to eat. I say, well, if you eat healthier, everything will be, you won't need to eat as much and you'll be satisfied. People say, but it's too much money to healthy. I say, well, if you're eating healthier, you're eating less often, and if you're eating less often, you're saving money. So other people will say, but it's too much time to eat healthy. I say, well, if you're eating healthier, you're eating less, and if you're eating less often, you're not spending as much money on the time you're spending in the kitchen, or as much time in the kitchen. And then people say, well, I know what you're saying to eat less, but I just love to eat. I say, well, if you eat less, you live longer, and you'll get to eat more. Understand, folks, our Creator's plan has it exactly the way it should be. We don't have to stray from His plan. If we want to be healthy, that's what we need to do. There's a time for every purpose under the heavens. There's a time for eating. There's an ideal time for eating, and that's it. Stick to it.
Come out of the world, oh my people, seek the truth, avoid the evil, learn Yahweh's ways, Torah Life Ministries, come out of the world.